Why don't nobody ever talk about this? Like when it comes to fasting. Like this is never brought up. And if you don't believe what I'm about to tell you, there's plenty of science to back it up. As a matter of fact, the science, all kind of people in real life you know. Before I take this video where I really want to take it, let's get into like what fasting is and what it does to your body. We're gonna break down what happens in your body hour by hour as you continue to fast. And just to be clear, with water fasting, we're talking about a 3-day water fast. This is going 3 days, only drinking water, not eating any food, only drinking water. So for the first 12 hours-ish, your insulin levels are still gonna be relatively high, right? So this is what happens. Every time you eat, insulin is produced to tell your cells to metabolize the sugars and the carbs that come in so it doesn't get in your bloodstream. This is important because if this isn't happening properly, this is how people gain weight. This is how people can even end up with diabetes. That's just the first 12-ish hours, give or take. Like what happens for the next 6 to 10 hours or so after that? Your body starts to use fat as energy, right? And our bodies are so intelligent, it actually starts to use the fat in our waist area usually. It's called ketosis. Your body uses 60 to 80% of its energy to digest food. When it's not digesting food, it's dealing with other processes in the body, which includes processes where it's correcting misfolded proteins, it's correcting DNA errors, it's cleaning up cellular waste, and it's cleaning up all the old crippled cells and replacing them with new vibrant cells, right? And this happens at a fairly mild level once your body is done digesting food, right? As far as it's cleaning up the cellular waste and misfolded proteins and all that, okay? If you were to continue to not eat after about a day or two, depending on your body, that process I just described, it gets more intense, it gets more efficient, it gets more effective. So they're really cleaning up the cellular waste. They're really getting rid of all the old crippled cells and replacing them with the new vibrant cells, right? It's really, and this is a very strong, powerful healing process, okay? This is what happens, this is why people fast a lot. The name of this process is called autophagy. Autophagy. Is this making sense to everybody so far? Remember when I said, before we take this video where I really want to take it, because this is one of the main reasons people like to go on a fast. They like to cleanse. This cleansing process we're talking about is called autophagy. So remember earlier I said, how come nobody talk about this when it comes to fasting? Because the main thing they fast for is for autophagy. People tend to ignore that you don't have to fast for autophagy to happen. You don't have to fast for 2-3 days. Right? As a matter of fact, if we keeping it all the way 1,000, and by the way, I'm a fan of fasting, I promote fasting, but at the same time, we can't act like going on multi-day fasts isn't heavily associated with eating disorders. It's so associated with eating disorders, you can't even type in a 3-day water fast, you can't even type in a fast on TikTok. If you try to search for fast on TikTok, it's going to take you to some eating disorder hotline or some shit like that. You got to put fast. Real shit, you got to put FEST, some crazy shit like that. But that's not the only way to get this cleansing process. And the reason I'm making this video, too many people think that they can just eat how they want to eat, go crazy, drink how they want to drink, eat all the worst food in the world, and then just, it'll be all taken care of once I do this 3-day fast and cleanse what happened. No. Now, here's the thing. Not only does your body do some mild autophagy from just intermittent fasting, we'll say, not just eating every 12 hours like that, right? As long as we give our body a break. This is why 16-8 is so popular, or 6-18 or 4-20, even 1 meal a day. Even past that, there is a way to get into this magical process faster, and it's arguably much more efficient than just fasting. So we can get into this cleansing process faster, and it's arguably much more powerful, and you don't have to fast to do so. So instead of waiting, starving yourself for 1 or 2 days before it finally kicks in, and this whole time you can't wait to take your next bite until you can dig into the food that you've been daydreaming about for the past 60-70 hours, you can get into it right quick, instantly, and it's more powerful. Another way that induces autophagy is just not having a lot of calories to begin with. So what we should be able to understand is this. I said earlier, your body uses 60 to 80% of its energy to digest food. Basically, once that job is done in the body, it can start to begin the autophagy process. Okay, so if you're not eating as much calories, it's easy for the autophagy to take place as well, even if you're not even necessarily intermittent fasting, because it wasn't a lot of food to digest in the first place. Now, when I talk about eating less calories, when you hear people say about eating less calories, you automatically think less food. What if I told you that you don't have to eat less food to eat less calories? What if I told you that you could even eat more food and it's still less calories? So you can eat more food and it's less calories, and not to mention what I talked about, that we can induce autophagy even faster. So you can combine these two things together. You know, a 3-day water fast is actually how I kicked off my health journey, right? So I know it's powerful. I know it can work if done properly, okay? So if you want to know how to do the 3-day water fast properly, if you want to know how to eat less calories despite eating more food so you're not going hungry, and we can talk about how to actually induce autophagy much faster, and it'll be even at a more efficient rate than starving yourself for 2-3 days, just comment free guide below. I'll send you a PDF on how to go about it, and we can also hop on the phone or send some voice memos back and forth to go over some details to make sure that, you know, that you understand everything the right way. Also, if any of you have went on a fast before, any fast that's longer than a day, 2-day fast, 3-day fast, 5-day fast, whether it was a good experience or a bad experience, show your experience in the comments below.